Hello everyone, I am Blind, I am French, and I am the author of Infinicia RPG. It's kind of a tabletop RPG game conducted by AI on ChatGPT. It will be free as a GPT from the GPT store, and it's multimodal. It has many possibilities, and I will show you an example of the game. To go quick, I will not create a whole world, then create a complete character tailored for me. Instead, I will choose a well-known universe fiction to dive in. So let's go. I will activate the vocal mode and chat with the game.
Clickable button active micro.
Let's start in English.
Great. First, you have two choices. 1. Choose an existing world, a well-known setting like medieval fantasy, sci-fi, cyberpunk, post-apocalyptic, etc. 2. Let me guide you in creating a unique world for your adventure. Which one do you prefer?
I will play in the Star Wars Episode 3 universe during Order 66, and I want you to generate characters for me, and I will automatically choose the first one.
Perfect. You'll be playing in the Star Wars universe during Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, right as Order 66 is being executed. A dark and dangerous time filled with betrayal, survival, and shifting alliances. Generating characters. Character 1, Fallen Jedi Survivor. You will play this character. Name Kale Varn, species, human. Background. Once a promising Jedi Knight, Kale barely escaped the Jedi Purge when Order 66 was issued. Hunted by the Empire, he now operates in the shadows, torn between seeking revenge and protecting what little remains of the Jedi Order. Primary stats. Physique Shui, 50, Perception, 45, Intellect, Int, 55, Intuition, Force Sensitive, Endurance, Inu, 25, Luck, Siche, 60, Skills, Lightsaber Combat plus 12, Stealth plus 12, Persuasion plus 12, Survival 12, Jedi Force Powers, Telekinesis, Mind Trick, Force Speed, plus 6. Equipment, Hidden Blue Lightsaber, Tattered Jedi Robes, disguised under civilian gear, Comlink and Stolen Credits. Other characters, for variety, but not your choice. 2. Imperial Clone Defector. Name CT-7891 Dagger. Species, Clone Trooper. Background, a clone ARC trooper who refused to execute Order 66, now hunted as a deserter. 3. Smuggler turned rebel. Name Vexatal. Species, Twi'lek. Background, a cunning smuggler who witnessed the rise of the Empire and decided to fight against tyranny. 4. Bounty hunter in the shadows. Name Koro Dren. Species, Mandalorian. Background, a mercenary who takes contracts from both sides but secretly aids Jedi fugitives. You are now Kale Varn, a Jedi Knight in hiding. Would you like to activate immersion mode? No dice rolls or mechanics in responses, just story and choices? Or keep gameplay transparent with stats and rolls?
Yes, let's activate immersion mode for the beginning.
Immersion mode activated. The galaxy is in flames. The Jedi Order is no more. Betrayed by the Republic, hunted by the Empire, and cut down by the very soldiers they once commanded, their light flickers in the darkness. Darth Vader and the Emperor's Inquisitors now scour the stars for any Jedi who survived Order 66. You are Kale Varn, once a Jedi Knight, now a fugitive. You barely escaped the massacre at the Jedi Temple, fleeing Coruscant with nothing but your lightsaber and the weight of betrayal pressing on your soul. You have spent the last few weeks on the run, hiding in the Outer Rim, avoiding patrols, and trying to piece together what little remains of the Jedi Order. Now, you find yourself in the lower districts of Nar Shaddaa, the smuggler's moon. The neon lights flicker over the grimy streets, filled with spice dealers, bounty hunters, and criminals who thrive under Imperial rule. You have kept your head down, wearing simple civilian clothes to mask your identity. Your lightsaber, remains hidden beneath your robes. Tonight, you received a coded transmission. One of the last Jedi, Master Luthen Saul, is rumored to be alive. He was last seen near Port District 77, seeking passage off-world. If he is still here, he is in danger. The Empire will be watching. The wind carries the scent of exhaust fumes and spice smoke as you step into the dimly lit streets. In the distance, you see the glow of the spaceport. Your instincts tingle. Someone is watching. What do?
I will investigate to find who is watching me.
The neon glow of Nar Shaddaa casts long, shifting shadows across the alleyways, distorting figures in the dim light. You slow your pace, your senses sharpening as you blend into the crowd of smugglers, spice dealers, and wandering drifters. Your heart beats steadily, trained by years of Jedi discipline, but your instincts scream danger. You let your gaze drift naturally across the street, your eyes scanning reflections in the glass of a rundown vendor stall, the shimmering surface of a nearby speeder, and the movement in the alleyways above. Then you spot it, a figure, wrapped in a tattered cloak, standing beneath a flickering street lamp across the road. They aren't moving, not pretending to browse the market stalls, not shifting with the tide of the crowd. Just standing there, watching. Your mind races. Imperial? Bounty hunter? Or something worse? The underworld of Nar Shaddaa thrives on information, and there are plenty of credits to be made selling out Jedi survivors. A second presence emerges, a pair of armored figures stepping out from a nearby cantina. Clone troopers, not in Republic colors anymore. Their white armor is marked with the sigil of the Empire. Purge troopers, specialists trained to hunt down Jedi survivors. The air thickens with tension. They haven't spotted you yet, but they are moving in your direction. You can sense their intent. The cloaked figure, whoever they are, remains motionless. Watching, you have moments before the situation escalates. Do you, 1, slip into the crowd and disappear, avoiding confrontation and finding another way to reach Port District 77? 2, confront the cloaked figure before the purge troopers get too close. Are they friend or foe? 3, find high ground. Nar Shaddaa's skyline is filled with rooftops, catwalks, and fire escapes. A Jedi moving unseen above might have the advantage. 4, prepare for battle. If they're already tracking you, waiting might only get you cornered. A preemptive strike could even the odds. Your choice will shape what happens next.
Option 2. Option 2.
You take a slow breath, keeping your steps casual but deliberate as you move toward the cloaked figure. The purge troopers are still scanning the streets, unaware of your presence. For now, the figure remains still, their face hidden beneath the deep hood of their cloak. You stop just a few feet away, close enough to speak in a hushed voice, but far enough to react if this turns into a trap. You're watching me, you say, keeping your posture neutral. Why? A low chuckle escapes from the figure, a voice rough, weathered by years of hardship. Masculine, older, because you're either very bold or very foolish, Jedi. Your blood runs cold for a moment. The word Jedi is spoken barely above a whisper, but it carries weight, as if the figure knows exactly what you are. Then he steps forward, just enough for the flickering neon light to catch his features. An older man, human, with a cybernetic implant over his right eye. Scars across his cheek tell a story of battles long past. His hands are calloused, but not the hands of a warrior. They are the hands of someone who has worked with machines, someone who has survived the hard way. The name's Carson Dorn, he says, voice steady. You're walking into a trap. The purge troopers are getting closer, their visors scanning the street. Carson tilts his head slightly, just enough for you to catch the motion. A side alley, a way out. If you want to live, follow me. Now, you don't have long to decide. Follow Carson into the alley. He seems to know something, and if this is truly a trap, you'll need information. Refuse and demand answers here. This could be a setup, and you don't intend to let someone else dictate your next move. It could be safer to disappear entirely. Stand your ground. If this is a trap, you'll fight your way out before they close in. The purge troopers are only seconds away from spotting you. Your move.
I trust the man.
Without hesitation, you follow Carson Dorn into the alley. The moment you step into the shadows, he moves fast, his worn boots barely making a sound as he weaves through the narrow passageways of Nar Shaddaa. You match his pace, slipping between crates and rusted machinery, the distant hum of the purge troopers' scanners growing fainter behind you. For several minutes, neither of you speak. Only the sound of your footfalls and the distant noise of the city fills the space between you. Eventually, he leads you through a rusted service hatch and into what looks like an abandoned droid workshop. The flickering blue light of malfunctioning holoscreens casts eerie shadows across the room, filled with broken astromechs and scattered tools. Carson exhales sharply, finally turning to face you. "You're lucky I was watching," he mutters, crossing his arms. "Empire's got bounty hunters crawling all over the port, and those purge troopers, they weren't patrolling. They were looking for you." You study him carefully, your instincts still alert. "Who is this man, and why help you? How do you know who I am?" You ask, keeping your voice level. He chuckles dryly, "Because I've seen enough Jedi die to recognize one when I see them." His expression darkens slightly. "And I used to work for the people who hunted your kind." A flicker of danger rushes through your mind. Former Imperial? Or worse, sensing your tension, he holds up a hand. "I don't work for them anymore. The moment they turned on the Jedi, I knew the Empire was rotten." There's something about his tone, a sharp bitterness, a regret that lingers beneath his words. "That's why I sent the transmission," he continues. "Your Jedi friend, Luthen Sol, he's still in the Port District, but he won't last long." You step closer. "You sent the transmission?" Carson nods. "I know people. Word travels fast. The Empire's already closing in on him. If you want to save him, we don't have much time." His gaze sharpens. "I can get you inside the spaceport, but once you're in, you're on your own." You feel the weight of the moment. The Empire is moving fast. If Luthen Sol is still alive, he might be in even greater danger than you are. You have choices to make. 1. Agree immediately. Time is running out, and you need to act before it's too late. 2. Question Carson further. You trust him so far, but you need to know what he's after. No one helps a Jedi for free. 3. Suggest splitting up. If the spaceport is crawling with Imperials, a distraction might help you both survive. 4. Refuse his help. He might be sincere, but this could still be a setup. You'll find your own way. Carson watches you, waiting for your decision.
I agree immediately.
Carson gives a short nod, his expression grim but determined. "Good, then let's move." Without another word, he leads you through a back exit of the abandoned workshop, slipping into the labyrinthine alleys of Nar Shaddaa. The two of you move quickly, keeping to the shadows, avoiding main streets where Imperial patrols are likely watching. The neon lights of Port District 77 come into view. The spaceport is massive, towers of docking bays stacked on top of each other, filled with ships waiting to leave the smuggler's moon. But it's not just smugglers and traders here tonight. Imperial purge troopers, black-armored and armed with electro-batons and blaster carbines, are scattered across the area. TIE fighters hum overhead in patrol formations. Carson wasn't exaggerating. The Empire's already locking down the port. "Your friend is inside that terminal," Carson mutters, nodding toward a large customs checkpoint where a row of guards screens travelers before they board their ships. But they've got scanners, and if he's still alive, he's not getting past them. You follow his gaze and spot Luthen Sol. He's older, in his 50s, wearing a civilian robe, but you can sense the force within him. He's trying to blend in, acting as a normal traveler, but there's tension in his body. He knows the danger, and worse, a bounty hunter is tailing him, a Trandoshan, tall and armored, clutching a long rifle, watching him from a distance. Waiting. The purge troopers haven't seen Luthen yet, but if that hunter makes a move, the entire checkpoint will go into lockdown. Carson pulls you into the cover of a maintenance tunnel. We've got a few options, but none of them are easy. Possible plans. 1. Stealth approach. slip past security, and get to Luthen before the bounty hunter does. This will require precise timing and evasion. 2. Distraction. Cause a diversion somewhere else in the spaceport, maybe an explosion, a fight, or a fake alert to draw the Imperials away. 3. Direct confrontation. Take out the bounty hunter first. It will be loud, but it will buy Luthen time to escape. 4. Bribe or manipulate the guards. Use credits or a well-placed mind trick to get closer without suspicion. Carson watches you carefully. Your call, Jedi.
Let's go for the first choice.
You take a steady breath, calming your mind. Stealth is the key. If you move fast and unseen, you can reach Luthen Sol before the bounty hunter makes a move. Carson watches as you prepare, then gives you a sharp nod. I'll find a way to cover you if things go bad. Just don't get caught. You slip away from the maintenance tunnel and blend into the crowd of travelers moving toward the customs checkpoint. The neon glow flickers across your face as you weave between merchants, smugglers, and off-worlders waiting to board their ships. Every step is precise, every breath measured. The purge troopers stand motionless near the terminal gates, their black visors scanning the crowd. The Trandoshan bounty hunter is watching Luthen Sol, but his focus is sharp, waiting for him to make a mistake. You move like a shadow, passing behind a slow-moving astromech droid, using its bulk to obscure your movement. A group of drunken Twi'lek traders argues loudly, creating a distraction just long enough for you to slide behind a cargo container near the customs checkpoint. Now you're just a few meters from Luthen Sol. The Jedi Master hasn't seen you yet. He stands near the entrance, waiting, trying not to draw attention, but the bounty hunter is shifting. He's about to make his move. You have seconds to act. 1. Signal Luthen discreetly, a whispered warning or a subtle hand motion to let him know you're here. 2. Take out the bounty hunter silently. Strike before he can react, ending the threat before the fight starts. 3. Create a distraction. Knock something over, trigger an alert, or cause a disturbance to throw off the enemies. The moment is fragile. One wrong move, and the whole spaceport could turn against you. What do you do?
Choice 1.
You keep your movements small, subtle. Your eyes lock onto Luthen Sol, and you make the slightest motion with your fingers. 2 taps against your belt, a silent Jedi signal. For a moment, he doesn't react. Then, without moving his head, his eyes flick toward yours. You see the tension in his face shift, recognition, relief, and a barely contained urgency. You shouldn't be here, he mutters under his breath, lips barely moving. But there's no time to explain. The Trandoshan bounty hunter shifts, his reptilian eyes narrowing as he begins to step forward, his clawed hand reaching for the blaster rifle slung across his back. He's about to make his move. Luthen subtly turns his body, angling away, but he's trapped. If the bounty hunter grabs him, the purge troopers will notice. The checkpoint will go into lockdown. You need to act now. 1. Close the distance and quietly disable the bounty hunter. A quick strike could take him out before he draws his weapon. 2. Use a subtle force trick to distract him. A small nudge, a misplaced noise, anything to pull his attention elsewhere. 3. Draw him away. Step into his line of sight. Make him follow you instead of grabbing Luthen. 4. Let Luthen handle it. The Jedi Master might have his own plan. You could wait and see how he reacts. The weight of the moment hangs in the air. If you hesitate too long, he will strike first. What do you do?
Deactivate immersion mode and choice 2.
Immersion mode deactivated. Narrative remains detailed, but I'll now include game mechanics, roles, and stats. Action, use the Force to distract the bounty hunter. Your stats: Intuition, Force Power Check, 60, Difficulty Modifier. The bounty hunter is focused, but not expecting subtle manipulation, 10 penalty. Final target to succeed, 50 or lower on a D100 roll. Rolling D100, roll, 53, failure. You extend your mind, reaching out through the Force, attempting a subtle manipulation, a small nudge in the environment, a shift in sound, anything to divert the bounty hunter's attention. But the Trandoshan is too focused. His hunter instincts resist the slight disturbance, his head snapping in your direction instead. His yellow reptilian eyes narrow, and his clawed fingers tighten around his blaster rifle. I see you. Immediate consequence. You've been noticed. The bounty hunter now has his full attention on you. He does not fire yet, but he reaches for his weapon. The purge troopers are still unaware for the moment. Luthen remains in place, watching for your move. You must react quickly. 1. Engage him in close combat before he can fire. 2. Attempt another, stronger force action, mind trick or telekinesis. 3. Feign innocence and try to talk your way out. 4. Draw him away from Luthen by leading him elsewhere. The moment is on the edge of chaos. Your move.
Choice 1.
Stealth takedown attempt. Roll 20 success. You move swiftly, stepping into the bounty hunter's blind spot just as he reaches for his blaster rifle. Your training takes over. No wasted movements, no hesitation. With precise control, you strike the pressure point at the base of his neck, cutting off his balance. He stumbles, his grip loosening just enough for you to grab his weapon strap and pull him backward into the shadowed space between cargo crates. Before he can shout, you clamp a hand over his snout and drive a sharp blow into his ribs, forcing the air from his lungs. His eyes widen in shock, but you feel the fight leaving him as his body goes slack. He's unconscious, not dead, but out of the fight. Luthen Sol, still standing near the checkpoint, exhales slightly but keeps his movements natural. The purge troopers don't seem to have noticed. Results: bounty hunter neutralized, unconscious, not dead. No alarm triggered. Luthen Sol still in position. Kale remains undetected. You are now free to approach Luthen and extract him before security tightens. Do you 1. Move quickly to Luthen and escort him out now? 2. Search the unconscious bounty hunter for useful items? 3. Signal Carciner an exit before moving in. 4. Change disguise using the bounty hunter's gear to blend in? You have only moments before something else shifts in the spaceport. What's your next move?